What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is the predictions video for round 2 of the Rugby Championship between the All Blacks and Australia. Last week we saw a very interesting game between these two brilliant rugby nations, where we saw the All Blacks picking up a very good victory over the Wallabies. But one thing we must say, and I said it before in the previous video, the Australians showed a lot of heart, commitment to the game, and definitely showed a lot of improvement compared to what they were like last year, when they struggled, when they just had their moments. Yes, they beat the All Blacks in the final Bledisloe game, but they had their moments of weakness, as we saw. But they are on the rise. The camp seems to be a lot better. The camaraderie between the players seems to be stronger. Michael Hooper and his team are looking good, and they're looking competitive. And as I said, as a South African fan, I'm nervous to play the Aussies, because I just think they are just getting there. They're getting there. They're clicking, they're gelling, and I think it's going to be extremely tough for South Africa when we play them. But that game's still weeks away. Now we talk about the second game. Now this is going to be a very interesting game. The All Blacks at Eden Park have an unbelievable record. I think the last time they lost was in 1994, but the last time they lost to Australia was in 1986. There's quite a history here and quite a big favour towards the All Blacks. It just once again shows how much this team has just dominated world rugby, and it just continues to just get better and better and show the world why they are the #1 team in the world. Now both teams have the potential to beat each other. I personally believe that. If you look at the players within these two fantastic rugby nations, there is class. I mean, Michael Hooper, guys, he's a leader like no other. He's a hard fighting captain, player. He doesn't give up. He's all over that bloody field. Whether it's passing, running, tackling, stealing the ball, he is just immense. David Pocock and his experience within the Australians is also incredible. He had an outstanding tournament against Ireland. Even though they lost, he still had such a powerful impact, and his presence will be felt in this next game. He was a bit quiet in the first test match, but he's there. We've got Bernard Foley, who's looking like he's in really great form. He's a fantastic fly-off with the potential to really knock a team over with his boot if on form. So he's a danger. Then there's many other players. I mean, Will Genia, he's just class on his own as a scrum half. He's experienced, he's talented, he's been in situations like this before where they are the underdogs, and he's helped his team win. And he's also been there when they've lost, so he knows the feeling. We got Israel Folau now. I'm not sure if this guy will be playing, but because he had a niggle on the previous game. But if he's in, he's also an immense character of the game and pure strength. He is a class athlete and one hell of a player. So the Australians have stars in order to take them to the next level, to give the All Blacks a run for their money. It is possible. It is possible, but it's so hard, especially at this stadium. Now, if we look at the All Blacks, I mean, crikey, their whole team is just amazing on paper. But for to single out a few, Kieran Reid. I know some of you guys have said he's overrated. I personally don't think he is. I think he's an outstanding leader. He's constantly on the ball with the referee or with the players. He's a fighter. He's determined. He's quick. I mean, he did some skillful passing that one led to a try and two created a try, which was absolutely fantastic. I think it was the same try, but he was in that movement. He was in the break. For me, he's an outstanding leader, and I would have him in any bloody squad as my captain. I think the man's a genius. Beauden Barrett, he silenced a lot of his critics this past weekend. A lot of people saying, is he the right man? I know I've criticised his place kicking before, but he seemed to have his head screwed on from the skillfulness, the tactical, the running, the speed, the passing. That man is a genius, and he's brilliant. The two great scrum halves Aaron Smith, we all know his skill and class. I mean, he's brilliant in all ends, in all formats. Whatever he does, he's fantastic. TJ Perenara, I rate this guy very highly. He's one of my favourite scrummers to watch in the Southern Hemisphere, and I think he's brilliant. Also, he leads the haka. I mean, he's got enough passion for that game than majority. I mean, obviously all of them have passion, but he's brilliant. Whitelock, I mean, Kane. They are just numbers of fantastic guys, but one who really stood out for me, and I was so happy to see this man play so well, was Brodie Retallick. This guy is a machine. He is a giant, but he is quick and he's strong and he's determined. He had a rough year last year, but I'm so happy to see him back in the All Blacks jersey, showing his pure class and skill for the game. He really is a machine, and I'm so stoked for him to see him back playing well. So, on paper, we have two fantastic rugby teams, but let's go to history. History, unfortunately, always follows a team, but history is there to be broken. Now, the teams, Australia played the closest defeat for this game was in 1991, 6-3. Victory was for Michael Lahan, who suffered a goal-kicking horrors. Grant Fox played in that game, truly immense stuff. Biggest defeat was 51-20 in 2014, so that is just 4 years ago, and the All Blacks picking up that win. Last encounter was in 2016. The All Blacks beat the Aussies 37-10. So interesting stats here with the past results and all that stuff. It's going to be an interesting one. The first time it was in 1986 when Alan Jones coached the side, won by impressive 22-9 to clinch the series in New Zealand. That's pretty impressive, but that's also so long ago. The saying here in this article, the record is so bad that winning at Eden Park has become un-Australian. That's a bit harsh, but unfortunately, with records like that, there's not much we can say about it. Since 1986, they've suffered 17 straight defeats. But records, my friends, are made to be broken. And we could see it broken, but it's going to be tough. The average scoreline between these two teams at the stadium is 29-14. So it's going to be extremely tough. Obviously, the books are favouring the All Blacks, and I think a lot of people will be, but you know, the beauty of rugby is that on the day the stronger team can surprise us. Now it's unlikely because of what we saw last week, what we're seeing from the All Blacks at the moment, but I wouldn't write them off. This record will be broken one day. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year. But if you look at Australia and how they're developing, and if they can stick with Checker and grow with Checker, if he doesn't moan too much, then they can really go places and do something immense and amazing. So it can be done, but I personally don't think it's going to happen this weekend. And the reason being is because New Zealand are just on another level. Their fitness levels is intense, immense brilliance that goes within that team. They just don't stop. They play 85-minute rugby. They don't give a team a break. At the start, they like back off a little bit, let the team go at them, give them a few things. But I think that's a tactical move, because I've watched them do that against France, I've done it against South Africa, Australia in the past, Argentina, where the teams just go at them and fight hard, but then and the All Blacks come second half, and now they've always been known for this, just completely destroy a team. Now they didn't destroy the Australians. Australia did have opportunities, but it's just silly errors that they need to work on going into this game. They need to think about what they're doing and how they're going to approach this game differently, how they're going to surprise the All Blacks in ways that they wouldn't expect coming. And by doing that, it's just playing calm, being calmer on the field and not making silly mistakes, because as soon as they make the mistakes, a guy like Bowden Barrett, which he did in his past game, will pick up the ball and do something in order to score a try. So the mistakes need to be dropped, and they need to play 99.9% of the game perfectly. Now that's impossible because we don't often see teams not make mistakes. It's something inhuman. But if they can just concentrate and capitalize on the All Blacks errors and focus on their strengths and build their weaknesses going into this week, they got, 3 more days to train. Work on those. Study what the All Blacks do in order to be able to beat them. But it's going to be tough. History proves that it's hard to beat the All Blacks at Eden Park. As I said, they haven't lost since 1994, I think. I can't remember who the team was. But the last time they lost to Australia was in 1986. 1994, I was only 3 years old. So that's how long ago it was. So, who's going to win this weekend? I know I've said it, but I reckon we're going to see an interesting score. I see the All Blacks winning because it's at home. I see them winning. Sorry to all my Australian fans, but I see the score result being 14 points or more. Again, I'm sure we're going to see a strong start to the game where the All Blacks, the Aussies are going to come out firing to prove critics wrong, but I just think they're going to get a bit tired come second half, and the All Blacks are just going to capitalise and just run over. I'm hoping it's not a walkover, I really do. If I have to pick a scoreline, maybe 12-30 odd or something like that. I hope the Aussies can score some tries. I want to see lots of tries scored in this game this coming weekend. Both teams are brilliant, but Eden Park is a tough place to beat the All Blacks, and we all know the strength that these guys can provide, and it's just going to be extremely tough. It's going to be tough. But I'm excited to see how these players approach this game, and I'm excited to see what comes out of this game. If we see 1 or 2 more weaknesses from the All Blacks, or if we see them totally snap out of the faults that they did in that first half and just completely go in dominating. And I think it's possible, but I really think the Aussies are going to come out fighting and giving the crowd their money's worth. It's sold out already, which means big crowds, so that's always amazing, but it also means it's going to be electric for the All Black supporters. The crowd is going to be pumping, the anthems are going to be immensely brilliant, the haka is just going to be goosebumps material. So this game is lining up to be an absolute humdinger, and I cannot wait to watch it. So All Blacks to win. I'm hoping for an Aussie comeback and just a good fight. And no, not because I support Australia or I support the All Blacks. I just want a good game for the sake of rugby. I have utmost respect for both countries. I love watching them. I've grown up watching them, hence why I'm a fan predicting it. But at this stage, I just see the All Blacks being the dominant figure and taking this one for the win. But who knows? Most exciting things has happened, and we have seen shocks, and like I said, history is there to be broken as well. But we'll have to wait and see what happens this weekend. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think is going to win? What is your predictions? And also, standout player that you're looking forward to watching this weekend, Australia or even New Zealand, whoever you think, who is your standout player. And yeah, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't already, make sure you have subscribed. So much more to come later this week. South Africa versus Argentina, round 2 predictions, and yeah, so much more for this Rugby Championship. It is awesome. Last week's Australia-New Zealand video, or the recap video, did so well. So big thanks for all the support from Australia, New Zealand, and whoever else watched it from around the world. A big shout out to all the new subscribers that have come over this past weekend. Welcome to the channel. I hope you guys enjoy the journey with me. And as I said, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys real soon for another video. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe. May the best team win this weekend and enjoy the rugby. Stay safe. Never give up. Cheers.